Oh, I'm muted the whole time. What a loser. Happy Saturday. See, this is what happens when I stream on a new day. You know what? No, second take is very good. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. We get to do a special Saturday stream, and I'm a professional YouTuber, but there's some really cool toys out there. And this week, the new Monstors Kickstarter launched, and we have the opportunity to speak with the man behind the whole thing. And so hope you're here to, check out the Kickstarter. If you have some questions, let us know in the chat. And also, we want to find out what Monsters is all about. And of course, the man behind the scenes, who is literally behind the scenes now, but joining me right now. Please welcome to the show. Thank you for hit the heart because of my screw up. I love that. Please welcome to the show, David Igo.
Hi. I was trying to text you. I didn't have your number, but I was on Instagram like, you're mute. But I kind of love it.
Like this.
You handled it great. I didn't know if you could see me. So I was like, because of the thing. But yeah, it's a great way to start. I love stuff like that, though. It makes it more of a genuine thing. Like, oh, you're a real person. You aren't perfect. You muted the intro to your show.
I know. My co-host does a lot of that stuff, and it makes him feel way too real, almost fake, to the extent that it's like, there's no way this happens consistently. So I guess it's it's kind of rubbing on to me, rubbing over. That's not a saying.
It can be a saying, rubbing over you like this.
Rubbing over. Hey, but welcome to the show. You've been making waves in the Kickstarter community, but also on the online toy scene, here on YouTube. I've seen you on Toymigos. You were on
Collection Anxiety most recently, like last week. Right.
Exactly. So it's all over, and I think that's super cool. And it's always interesting for me. Like the main reason I do the Thursday stream is like I've always wanted to learn more about people who make toys or work in the industry behind the scenes stuff, because for me it's more interesting that way. So it's always been a very selfish endeavor to do these streams. It's just like whatever I can learn, and if anyone wants to tune in and come for the ride, like absolutely, please do. But we saw Monsters launch this Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the crowdfund project real quick. But just to get to know a little bit about you, man. What kind of toys are you into collecting? And well, let's just start with that. What kind of stuff are you into collecting currently?
Yeah, well, one thing I want to just go back on real quick was you said why you started doing the YouTube stuff, because you're selfishly want to like learn more about stuff.
Yeah,
and that's why I started this toy. I selfishly wanted these toys. And then I've talked about that, I've been very vocal about it. One guy caught me saying that on a thing, and then he like did a review on it, and he's like, and it's a vanity project. I'm like, what isn't a vanity project? Like, you should want to, unless you're literally doing like humanitarian thing, almost, or something and stuff like, oh, my child needed the skin thing figured out, so I figured out this lotion because my kidney, now everyone gonna have it. Like anything toy related is pretty much vanity. I can't imagine like I started this toy company to save lives,
Someone said that about you already?
Huh?
Someone said that about this Kickstarter already?
Well, no, he just like, he was a weird, me and another friend, he reviewed my friend's stuff too, and we're both like, I couldn't tell if it was like a dig or he just was
satire.
Like, I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But it even being brought up almost felt like a spotlight on like this weird negative connotation of doing, like, oh, he's doing it because it's vanity. I'm like, well, dude, yeah, it's toys. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think we don't need toys. We want toys, So
that's an interesting take. It's like an artist putting their work first, like putting pen to paper and then saying it's a vanity piece. It's like if you had an idea and you wanted to make it a reality.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. That means like you've already reached a certain level where most companies have to cultivate that kind of reputation where like the negative spin has to be, it's so extreme where you're like, whoa, how did you get to that conclusion?
Yeah, so like it's got to be helpful and objective, like, hey, just something to think about. I'm like, okay, I want to make toys, thanks. But so yeah, like with so I mean I'm constantly like morphing a little bit. Like when I was a
Oh, for
kid
sure.
growing up, like when I was a kid, my earliest memories of toys were definitely getting a giant bin of hand-me-down He-Man figures from my cousin, because I'm born in 83 and He-Man toys had already started coming out. So when I was like 6 years old, they'd already been out. So like I got the pass-me-downs from my cousin. And my one big Christmas memory I really have, I have a twin brother. We both came down the stairs and there are these two big boxes under the tree, one with my name, one with his name. And we tore them open at the same time. And I got the T-Rex from Dino Riders and he got the Brontosaurus or Brachiosaurus. I can't remember, whichever one was like financially equivalent to the T-Rex. But we both got big Dino Rider
I think
dinosaurs.
back then it was still Brontosaurus, and
Okay.
then I think recently they're like, that's not a real thing. It's
Well, yeah,
Brachiosaurus.
they also no. So Brachiosaur and Brontosaur were always viewed as two different things, but the Brontosaur is like, oh, now it's an Apatosaur. Oh no, now it's a Brontosaur again. So there's two different Dino Rider long neck
Okay.
ones. I just think you
So
got
they're like the Pluto of dinosaurs. It's like, is it a
yeah,
planet? Is it not?
yeah, that's a great the Brontosaurus, the Pluto of dinosaurs. Is it a planet? Is it just
Ironically, some space rock did wipe out those dinosaurs. So
maybe it was Pluto. Maybe it was the original
piece of Pluto,
dude. A
and then
piece.
which made it a dwarf planet. Oh man.
I love this. This is like what I love about it. Like my wife yelled at me at the last live stream I was on because I kept tangenting. She's like, I came out, she's like, you didn't talk enough about it. But I'm like, I love like that you can talk about it some that we get to just do this because it's fun. It's different. It makes it every one I'm on a little different.
Don't worry, we're gonna talk about this. I just want to get myself and everyone to know a little bit about David first.
My heart jumped a bit because the Canadian dollars. I'm like, holy crap! I just got $20,000 in the last 5 minutes.
You got a 40%.
You jerk! Yeah.
Jump. There you go. All right, sorry. So yeah, Dino Riders, which is awesome, and I love that imagery and of the Christmas morning toys, coming down under the tree in the morning. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think as a kid, like that point through junior high, like the most toys I had was probably the 3 3/4 inch GI Joes because it was like bright, colorful. They're more affordable. My parents could buy a few. Like you can find them everywhere. So it's huge at GI Joe when I was a kid. I'm not as much now because it's not like I'm anti-gun or anti-military or anything like that, but it's just like it's military figures. It's like that's cool, and I like the more sci-fi robot helmeted cool bad guys. But just now with my thing, I found my passion really be like, oh, the fantasy sword and sword buff things, barbarians and creatures and animals and skull face villains, like the weird wacky stuff. So I've kind of come like full circle, and actually I jumped a beat because after GI Joe, when I became like for a while there's no toys, it's like just video games. It's like video games only. But then I got my first job when I was 15 years old, and that was like right when McFarlane Toys was like, I think Wave 4 had just come out, like of the McFarlane toys. So it was like after their Kenner looking stuff, then Wave 2 and 3 I think had come out. Maybe it was Wave 4. But so I had a job and I saw these really cool toys from a really cool comic. I was into Spawn comics, huge. So I bought tons of McFarlane toys. I was like junior high, high school, early college was like McFarlane toys and anime stuff. So I was
nice.
Yeah, a few anime toys, but mostly like my mom kept my room the same way in Colorado. It's like 90% Spawn McFarlane toys, like just everywhere, So
well, I want to comment on room displays. The only other person that I've seen use the shoe shelf is my daughter, who uses that in her closet, and all of her Barbies they're supposed to be in there. They're actually in a pile somewhere else, but that's I saw that when you were on Toy Migos. I'm like, hey, that's awesome. We do that too.
So my wife saw the shoe racks being used in like on Pinterest in like a craft section. They were putting their craft supplies in it, and she's like, "Oh, that'd be a good way to keep your toys in there." Because I have to, not that they're like the best display, but it's like for a lot of like tweeterhead stuff. Because I work on the He-Man statue line, I need easy access, like a bunch of different, like, oh, here's Man at Arms from the classics 2000X Man at Arms. So I keep stuff up there, so it's like my reference library. It's like instead of a bookshelf, it's on my shoe rack right there. But yeah, it's crazy when we fill it up, then you have to move it. It's like, oh yeah, I forget how much toys weigh when it's like full,
But it almost makes it easier. It's so satisfying because you have everything there.
It's awesome. Highly recommended.
Yeah, everyone. I'll find the affiliate link on Amazon for a shoe closet shoe hanger. I want to talk about some of your time in working in toys first, but before we
Yeah.
get to that, there are some people here live in the chat tonight. I want to say what's up real quick. Thank you everyone for coming to hang out on a Saturday night, only to see myself muted. How are you? We have Josh Brown. What's going on, Josh Brown?
Oh, that guy. He doesn't get around at all. He was the first pledge on the Monsters Kickstarter. Very first. Pledge number 1. He's awesome.
I really couldn't tell where you were going with that. Oh, that guy. He was the first. I love him.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster of emotions there and reactions. Balantabor, what's going on? We have Wing or Lose. What's up, man? Kevin, on a Saturday, I forgot this was going to happen. I know. It's I wanted to be able to get this in. The project launched this week, and let's talk about Monsters as a project as a whole. But yeah, DK's not here tonight. I don't know what he's doing, Josh Brown. Maybe he's clubbing what young people do. That DK is my co-host.
That's why I'm here. I'm the new co-host when DK's out for this one episode. No, I'm kidding. Just
on Saturdays. We have Blake Griggs watching on Facebook. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And again, while you're here, if you have a second to leave a thumbs up on the video, it lets people know you're having fun. Maybe this video will get into the viewership of more people, bring more eyes to the Monsters project. That's what it's all about. That's why that stuff is important. Andres Alvarez says, rubbing over, let's not. Oh, I started this comment because I thought you said, let's make this a saying. He said, let's not. Is this someone you're familiar with?
Let's ban him, though, because we should make it a saying, rubbing over. It's like rubbing over. I'm kidding.
According to some people, only those who already make toys should be able to make toys. Yeah, that's not vanity. Only
that's called gatekeeping. Not a gatekeeper. This guy.
Ooh, Vanity Toys is no. That sounds like Vanity Fair. I was like, that's a pretty cool toy company name, but now it sounds like Vanity Fair, or someone would think Vanity Fair is making toys.
Toys. Vans. We could just call it Vans. No one's done that company name before.
Vans. Yeah. There it is. Hell yeah. Andres. I'm not Andres. There we go. Put a little roll in the R. The best description I've heard is these are Mandela effect toys. They feel like they're really from the 80s. Damn, I mean I feel like if that's what you're going for.
Yeah,
you've nailed it, right?
Yeah. Andres is hired as my new spokesperson. I need more of that. So
there you go. Justin is here. What's up, Justin? We have 88 Figs, Zio Adams. Good to see you all. Jamie Lynn Parks. There's no way DK goes clubbing. I met DK through clubbing, guys. It was like 20 years ago, but yeah, absolutely I did. It's not a lie. Nightmare Nemo.
I used to go clubbing too. Not anymore. Right. Yeah.
Do people still go clubbing now? Is it still a thing, or do people just go to bars?
I know,
raves?
like
is it just raves?
Goth industrial people will club until they're dead. They just, I used to go to this place. It's like they'll just go because it's like that's what they love, and I love that about them. But yeah, now I hurt in places. I'm 41 and a half.
Yeah.
Your legs aren't what they used to be, or your backs. You sneeze wrong in the shower and your back's thrown out.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where I'm like, this speaker is really loud and it's hurting my ear. Can we stand somewhere else? And then at that point, this was probably like 15 years ago. And I'm like, am I old?
Yeah. Dude. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
Well, speaking of our past, let's get into what you've been doing. I understand you're an experienced person in the toy industry. And then, that leads you to, again, here's this Kickstarter, Monsters of yours, and we're going to get to the specifics, the tiers, the offerings. And there it is in the converted US
I was just kidding.
Pledges right now, just for everyone's.
Every once in a while, switch it. Just I'm like, whoa, it jumped again. $20,000.
It can lose money. No.
Yeah, it went down.
Sometimes I don't have a currency conversion here. I have inches to centimeters and Celsius to Fahrenheit. I don't have. Well, the exchange rate is always changing, but yeah. You're making some new toys, but just personally, and I think maybe if anyone in the chat wants to know, like, what's your experience or your time in the toy industry leading up to this week?
Yeah, so I've been working in the industry for about 18 years, mostly like high-end collectibles, which is like resin statues, some high-end articulated figures, like 12-inch, very little with that, but mainly statues and stuff. So heavy resin stuff. My first job was at Gentle Giant Studios. I got a job there right out of Vancouver Film School, British Columbia. So I was there for a year and a half. Went to Comic-Con 2006. That's
Okay.
where I met the owner of Gentle Giant, Carl Meyer. And it was actually the last day was Sunday at like 5 p.m. and they closed at 6. It was either 4 p.m. and closed at 5 on Sunday, I think. So it was like 4 p.m. He
Right.
came up to my table, and everyone else at my table had left. I was sharing the table with like a few other art friends, and I think one other person stayed. The other two left. So I stayed to the last hour of the last day, which you should anyways. That's when he came by, saw my work, and kind of interviewed me on the spot. And then,
Oh wow.
yeah, it was kind of. So I always tell people, you have to. It's always like, if you want to be successful in like the art industry, like whether it's toys, statues, whatever, I think you have to like put yourself out there a lot and constantly network. You just never know who you're going to meet when. Like I was just at like a networking thing last week. I almost didn't go. Then I went and met some like really amazing people that now are like new good connections. And it's easy to say in LA because there's like a lot of stuff to do in LA.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, if you have conventions you can go to or gatherings or like just you just never know who you're going to meet. And so, I mean, at Comic-Con, I was like, I'm staying the absolute last second until they kicked me out and I got to meet. That's how I got my first job. And
that's awesome. It's like people who stayed to the last minute of the con. They're like, oh, we can get free stuff if the vendors don't, get like a good deal. That guy was looking like, hey, maybe I can go find a deal. And he found himself a new, artist. That's that's funny.
That was cool.
Very cool.
So I was at Gentle Giant for 3 years, and I got hired at Sideshow Collectibles also because of Comic-Con and running into someone I used to work with at Gentle Giant. And they were like, I ran into them because I was running from my booth to the bathroom. I was like running. And then I ran past this guy I used to work with. I'm like, hey, man. I was just like, hey, man, Sideshow's looking for a new in-house designer. You should apply. I'm like, okay, thanks. I kept running to the bathroom. And so then after the con and all the dust settled, I hit him up and got interviewed and got that job. So it's like, you just never know what, so
yeah,
it was crazy. So then I was at Sideshow Collectibles. I was their first in-house full-time designer. They'd worked with freelance designers, and the guy who's there before me and with me, Joe Allard, he was awesome. He was he was freelance, so they needed an in-house guy, and Joe loved his freelance lifestyle, like waking up when he wanted to, working late from home and all that stuff. So they were looking for someone, and I was available. So I came in-house, and I was there for 10 years. And it was like probably the first 3 years was design. The next year and a half was design and manager. And then after that, I was art director for the last 5 years. So I got to work with the design team who I was responsible for. I got to work with the sculptors, the painters, the molding casters, like everyone up to final prototype where it went to the factory. But then I still worked with the production team. I just never dealt myself with the factory directly. Right. So I got to learn a lot there. And even I got to learn a lot of the business side. We started to do these meetings every couple weeks, whereas like all the generals kind of gathered, and so I started to go to those because I became a general, and it's like, wow, you learn a lot of the business of this too, which I always like learning stuff. I never feel, even I've been drawing my whole life, I still feel like I'm always learning something new with drawing. I can always get better at drawing. So I feel the same with I learned ZBrush, I can do digital sculpture. And I started to learn business. It was really expand my mind. So when I was terminated from Sideshow, and it was on good terms, it wasn't like you're fired. It was just like, hey, you've been here 10 years. It's obvious you want to make this flavor ice cream. We want to make this flavor ice cream. You'll probably be better if you go pursue that. So it was a very amicable breakup. And I'm still on really good terms with them. And so then Tweeterhead, who I've known, Chad, the owner of Tweeterhead, I've known him for a while up to that point. And I was even helping him at that time, kind of on his He-Man statues, which was a continuation of the Sideshow statue line I started. It was just perfect, weird timing. It was kind of actually a weird overlap because I was doing freelance for him while I was still at Sideshow. So it's kind of running with a baton, and then there's that moment where the two relay racers are running together. And then, so it's like that with Sideshow. Right. I was like Sideshow, then I'm running with Tweeter. Then it just became Tweeterhead. So I've been there 4 years as a creative director. So I run business, line list all the way through production with Chad. I deal 50-50 with the factories now. Chad deals mostly with them, but on my projects, I'll deal with them too. But all the He-Man statues, we call it the Legends lines. It's a more photorealistic. What would we do if we could make a live action He-Man movie? So
Right.
it's that, and it's I have a Thundercats line I'm responsible for, and then Myths and Monsters, which is our own take on classic monsters. And then I help chat a bit with like the DC stuff and other things too, but that's mainly like his
Wow.
thing. So yeah, 18 years about between Jalen Giant, Sideshow, and Tweeterhead, and now. So
so that's like, you got to really delve into and be part of a lot of the business side and
yeah,
creative side, but also the business side, and all these things that come together to put out like a a toy line or a
yeah,
collectible, right? That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, before I forget, I had Joe Allard was actually a guest on one of my Thursday shows.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
And it was during I think it was that or the week before, where I was looking into more of his stuff, and I realized he was like he kind of designed one of my favorite sideshow figures, the Mythos Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that was actually, they hired me when it was still the statue line, and Joe had already designed the Obi-Wan. I came on and designed like the other 4 statues in that first statue line. So the Boba Fett Mythos was my design. So seeing those
No way.
be the 2 6-scale figures come out of that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was Joe and Tom, and then Boba Fett was me and Tom. And Joe and I saw other stuff, but I came on and that one had already been designed. I think it was already like Progress and Sculpt or something like that. But yeah, Joe, that's how I met Joe. I mean, was there, and that was the first project where I was like, that's cool. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, man. Because I remember the statue, I saw it at Celebration in 2015. I'm like, I can never afford this. Well, I could try to buy it, but it would be very irresponsible, financially, and for my collection, it's like it just didn't fit. But then they came out with the figure, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I need to get this. And so,
less heavy without that sculpted capes. It's not gonna, and it's articulated, so you can pose it differently. Yeah,
it's my favorite Star Wars character. It has all these little Easter eggs in the accessories, and they used it as reference for the Kenobi show. So like, it was really cool. So the Mythos one, I know, I have a friend who has that. He has like a bit of a poncho style, versus the classic cape look, right?
Well, it was kind of like he had that little cape, and we just kind of like made it a bigger one.
Yeah.
So we were referencing a lot of like the Unnamed Man or the Man with No Name from the Clint Eastwood stuff. Just kind of like how that would look if it covered more of him. And the vision for that with the statue is, I always thought it'd be cool if he was like standing there. I had him originally like leaning forward with a giant rifle, and then a lot of people didn't want him leaning forward for whatever reason, so we made him in a more heroic pose. And I always liked the idea of like a long rifle with him, because you never really see him with that. You see him with his his blaster, or whatever. So it'd be cool to like see it with like a long ass rifle. So
this is the 1/6 statue.
Yeah. Well, that's the figure, the articulate figure.
Oh, sorry, not statue, figure. That's right.
How dare you? Not know the difference.
This is an awesome line.
Thanks. Yeah, that was fun to be a part of. I mean, there wasn't like anything like super. I didn't bring like a huge design aesthetic change. I was just more like, hey, can we give him more weapons? Can we make him like, statues are very irresponsible. They can be. They're huge space hogs, and and earthquakes when they're on a top shelf and an earthquake starts. It's scary. It's like, man,
there's an earthquake in California this week.
Yeah,
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah, like 2 or 3 days ago. Happened right when I was waking up. Yeah, it was nuts.
Tabor says the Obi-Wan is a great design. Yeah, it's one of my favorite 1/6 scale collectibles on display. So you go through, I mean, doing Comic-Con and then just getting right into this industry like that that seems like such like fate almost, right? Which brings us to this week. Your Kickstarter launched on Tuesday. And I think, was it a day or two in, you had reached like a third of your goal?
Yeah,
I saw those posts, which is awesome to hear. So I'm going to bring it up on screen so we can talk about it while people can look at it.
Thanks. Yeah. Did you want to? We just uploaded a toy. I don't know. Did you have a chance to see the toy commercial yet?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's the one above. It was so much fun. I updated it. Yes. Now it's the thumbnail. Okay, it's everyone told me like, you got to make it that one. Yeah. That epic new toy. You want to play? I'll not talk for a minute because it's hilarious.
We can do the director commentary.
Line of beastly buff brawler bros battling.
You guys do you hear the audio?
Yeah, I can hear it.
when it's
Yeah.
playing? Okay, cool. All right, restart.
An epic new toy line of beastly buff brawler bros battling it out to see who will reign supreme. Monsters! I'm sha-moo-moo, the oceanic battle boss.
And I'm sting-cobra, the venomous spike scoundrel.
Who will win this epic battle between the first two monsters?
You're going down, sting-cobra. Not a chance with that ugly mug.
Monsters come with interchangeable parts so you can create your very own monster. Like this. Or this. Or this. Or this. Don't just get one. The more monsters you have, the more monsters you can make. And every monster comes with their own little buddy.
So cool.
Oh, aren't they cute? But in the end, only one can reign supreme.
You haven't seen the last from me, sha-moo-moo.
By land, sky, or sea, monsters battle by the law of tooth and claw, as is the way of monsters! Collect them all, each sold separately. New from IGOSTUFF.
Got the stuff?
Yeah. So
Damn, that dude's voice.
yeah, the guy who did that voice is Aaron LaPlante. He does the voice for the caveman Spear from Primal. I don't know if you're familiar with that cartoon show. It's like the caveman that rides the T-Rex. He befriends like an adolescent.
I've heard of Primal, yeah.
It's so good, but so R-rated. It comes from Genny Tartakovsky. He did the Samurai
That's right.
Jack, the 2D Clone Wars
Yeah.
show Primal, and there's no talking. It's just the caveman grunting and yelling and screaming. Later on, they meet other people that can talk, or speak languages, but Spear, that the caveman just grunts and yells. I met him through my friend Jeff May, who does this thing called Mint on Card in LA, in Burbank. It's like stand-up comedians in a toy shop at Blast from the Past. And that on the first Friday of every month, it's stand-up comedians doing comedy inside of a toy shop. It's awesome. And so
that sounds dope.
it's super cool. And so I met this guy through Jeff. Jeff's like, oh, it's my buddy Aaron LaPlante. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? He's like, I'm a voice actor. I'm like, what do you? He's like, I'm the caveman from Prime. I'm like, what the shit? Because I love that show.
Yeah.
And so later on, like we like became friends and exchange info and stuff. And later on, I ran into him again at a convention when I had all my stuff on a table, and he came up to the booth. He's like, this is awesome. I'm like, would you want to do a voice in a toy commercial? He's like, yeah. So he did the main Monsters voice, and I did the I'm sha-moo-moo and I'm sting-cobra and the little buddy voices. That's all my silly voice. But Aaron, that was his second take on the Monsters, because the first take was a little bit slower and more chill. Right. I was like, louder, faster, more extreme.
More intense. Like,
chop.
Oh,
he crushed it. Just the first time I heard him scream that new version of Monsters, I almost fell out of my chair laughing. I loved it so much. And so as soon as I got the final cut for this, I sent it to like 20 of my closest friends and family. Like, you have to watch this. And one of my friends watches it like 2 or 3 times every day, and he just laughs every time at like the scream of Monsters. So
it's intense.
Yeah, it's I want it to be. I mean, I think everyone knows what oh, hey, Brick something. I'm gonna be hanging out with him tomorrow.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. But I love it when hearing it in my voice so much, and then hearing it come from him.
Yeah.
It was really a special, especially like a professional. It's like he's like a legit voice actor guy. And it's like, it was just seeing that commercial come together was like really awesome. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
So that's the commercial, and if you didn't really get the sense from that, or you just missed the last 2 minutes, what's the inspiration for? Again, we walked through, we talked about some of your work and your work experience in toys, but like, there must have been something passionate that drove you to this and to make these not just vanity. So what's kind of the inspiration? What's kind of these? I thought I could slip it in there and keep a straight face, but what's kind of like the main drive for Monsters?
If you scroll down a little bit, there's that image right there, and that just to me is like what I wanted. It's just like I was looking at my toy collection over here, which is a lot of that stuff. And it's like I just wanted more of that, and there are certain characters I didn't have. and that I wanted. And I was looking at my toy collection, like, what don't I have that I want, and what do I love? And I just kept thinking, like, I love the Buff Anatomy stuff because I drew Buff Anatomy stuff growing up. I love superheroes. I love Spawn. I love the Pit and Max and Hulk. So, like, I wanted Buff Anatomy. I loved creaturey animal things. I wanted that because, like, I have Scale Tail and I love Scale Tail, but I hate they like leans over because of his tail, lower body. So I'm like, well, I want to give him legs, and I love Clawful, so I want to give him a Clawful arm. That's how Sting-Cobra was kind of born. Was like taking two things and kind of like mashing them together, and obviously giving him like a complete reskin. And then sha-moo-moo was I didn't have a shark character. I thought a shark with bullhorns would be cool. But I'm like, what would make more sense? And then it was like the black and white patterning of a cow and an orca. I'm like, oh, that's what it could be. So that's how sha-moo-moo was born. So they're both
the name just flows perfectly together.
Sha-moo-moo and Sting-Cobra. So I wanted a bit of that like fun, punny weirdness, derpiness to like everything. So I wanted when you look at these, you just know it, even without the commercial. You're just like, these are fun. Then you watch a commercial, just pushes the fun and pushes like that weird 80s aesthetic and then the 90s aesthetic and extreme. It just kind of brings them together. Cause I love Street Sharks, but it was like too modern, too many like rollerblades and stuff. I'm like, I want like a Game of Thrones version of that, you know? So
they're like almost gladiator-esque the way they look.
Tribal, I call them buff brawler barbarian bros or something like. There's a lot of B's. I try to do a B alliteration thing.
Good.
So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, were these designs like something you? I know you just told us how you wanted these. What was missing? And you put them together. Was it something you were sitting on for a while, or was it just like recently? And you're like, we're just gonna make them into toys.
Dude, as soon as I had the idea, it was like, God, I want to say I started thinking about it maybe in 2020 when COVID like lockdown happened. I was thinking of a lot of things I wanted to do. Okay. Then I had started some stuff. Actually started pre-Monstors. I commissioned a buddy of mine in early 2020. So this was before lockdown to design and sculpt like a Keshi-inspired Gillman. So like, I don't know if you know what Keshi figures are, but they're basically like muscle men style things that are like in this flesh tone. They're kind of rubbery.
Yeah.
So I was like, you in this artist.
I'm on a huge kick of those, like, you know, just simple, non-articulated, small size figures right now.
Yeah, I love it. So I just did this I just paid my artist friend Paul Komodo to design and sculpt this guy, and then it was like a Cthulhu. So this guy.
Man, look at all the detail in that,
dude. And this was done in Super Sculpey, so this was not digital. He did this all by hand at scale, which is traditional. Yeah, it's insane what he did. Wow. And so I don't like the number 2 for whatever reason. So I'm like, I need a third one. So we did this crab character to stick with the aquatic theme. So the little crab monster guy, and he has a cool little lobstery kind of scallop tail thing. So that's like what was 2020 was me just like paying and commissioning Paul to do those figures. And then early 2021, I was on a walk with my wife and we were thinking about this idea. As soon as I got back from the walk, I texted Erwin Papa, who's a good friend of mine. And he's an amazing designer. If people don't know who Erwin Papa is, they should be following him on Instagram because he's like one of those like it people. Like he just gets it. His design aesthetic is awesome. His illustration style is awesome. For like, I mean, if you like this flavor of stuff,
right?
All of them, I'm like, dude, I want to do these animal mashups. I have this idea. I have a list of other animals I think are cool. He's like, oh yeah, we just hour-long conversation, and then we kind of whittle it down to let's do sha-moo-moo and Sting-Cobra first. And so he designed sha-moo-moo first. Once we got the design far enough along, he started designing Sting-Cobra. And that's how they were like the first. So I wanted to make sure we had a nice contrast, not just aquatic characters, because I worried about, it's Street Sharks 2.0. It's like, I want to make sure it was like had its own identity. You know, even though it's obviously inspired, you could see some of the inspiration there. I put Street Shark, Extreme Dinosaurs, He-Man, Ninja Turtles. I would say like the 4 biggest inspiration for and Battle Beasts, or just Battle Beasts a little bit bigger, less technology kind of a thing. So
yeah, that's cool. I mean, like it's great that you showed that first group shot with everything on the shelf, and then the classic toy review comparison, and here it is next to classic Ninja Turtle. This is the shell opening Raphael.
Yeah, good eye.
That's my favorite one.
They have the best heads on them. They have the best heads. Yeah,
that's why I loved it, because they weren't cartoony, and
Yeah.
that gritty teeth face, it's my favorite. So that's my favorite Raphael.
Yeah.
Of
It's not the black belt variant, like the super expensive black belt with like the translucent, glittery, or not glittery, but whatever. It's like all the accessories came in that really cool translucent color, but I can't
Right.
afford those right now. So I got the whole set probably like a year and a half ago of them, the complete set, just colored belts. But I love them; they're super cool.
Yeah, so they fit in, so you can kind of get a sense here, the scale of these. I want to talk about real quick. It launched on Tuesday.
Yeah,
There's 25 days to go. Okay, so people, if you have some time to time this out, again, we like to remind people you can back this project, and you only get charged at the end when it's funded. So you do have some stretch goals, or you do have different tiers here. So I want to come
yeah. We didn't
kind of go
announce
through.
stretch goals yet. I'm
Right.
working on something, so I try to
Yeah.
I know some people when they do Kickstarters, kind of like put everything out there all at once, and like announce everything. I want to make like week one about the announcement. My first Kickstarter, make sure I worked out all the kinks and whatever. Make sure it's all right. Everything's ironed out. It's edited. It's smooth. Because I killed myself on Monday. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. Monday and worked till 4:30 a.m. Tuesday. Took a
Damn.
21-hour work day. I took half an hour break to walk my dogs. Half an hour break to eat lunch. Half an hour break to eat dinner. I just worked. Crashed at 4:30. Woke up at 6:30 the next day. So I took a 2-hour
Oh
power
my
nap.
god.
And then I was supposed to go live at 9, but it was like I couldn't. So we went live at 10:30. I'm like, all right, we're done. We're live. It's over. And then as soon as we hit publish, it was like, boom, you have $1,000 already. I'm like, I just thought Kickstarter just gave us that. And Josh was, I'm your first pledge. It wasn't all him, but it was like him and two other people. It was like just right away. So I was like, whoa, $1,000 already is crazy. And then my dogs were screaming at me because I was 2 hours late walking them, because I usually walk them at 8. So I walk them, get back, all this feedback in the comments section about like, you don't show us anything. I didn't update the campaign pages, all just the tiers and rewards. I thought, because it's my first one, I thought like you post a reward and then it would reshare the image in full. But no, you have to upload them as items, then upload them as rewards, and the reward picture crops it to whatever that ratio is. I thought you would click it and it would show you the full thing. Then you have to re-upload everything in the story. So I got back from my walk. I was dead. I'm like, all right, I'll just spend the next 2 hours updating everything, make sure I had a good flow. And then I kept working that whole day because it's like, all right, answering questions and stuff. But
That's cool, man.
crazy. So that's where I learned about stuff. And that's where I had ideas for stretch goals. But I'm like, I want to put this, I might screw it up. So I just want to spend this week focusing on make sure it's up, it's good, answering questions. The first marketing wave, which is kind of like leading up to the toy commercial, which we put out yesterday.
Yeah.
Make sure I had to make a YouTube channel for it. So I have a YouTube, I had to learn about YouTube and uploading a video. Oh, why aren't comments on? You said this is kid friendly, so you can't comment. I'm like, okay, it's not kid friendly. Okay, now you can comment on things. All right, cool. Why can't I put a link in the description? Oh, you're not verified. What the shit? So I had to get like verified. It was like,
yeah, it's a whole other job.
Dude, for one, I just like, all right, I want to put up this one video. It's like it became like a whole day. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
so
man.
That's this week.
Okay.
So next week, I want to like focus on, all right, where's this going? I'm not like, it'd be cool. I mean, I would love it if it funded immediately, but like, cool, now we can do all this other stuff. But I'm not like in a rush to like push only on sales these days. I want to like figure out, I want to make an experience and kind of like a thing that has flow. So when I'm spamming people on Instagram and stuff, it's not like the same stuff all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Updates and fun stuff. And so, sorry. Yeah. So stretch goals I want to hold back to make it have a, hey, stretch goals. Check this out.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through each of the like what would you call it, tiers or offerings that are available, ways people can pledge.
Yeah.
Just to preface that, I put a link in the chat, but also on the YouTube video description. If at any point you're like, I want to back this, or I want to change, or whatever, all that stuff, when I see it for myself and bookmark it for later, please go ahead and use those links. First, I love the sticker pack. I think they look awesome.
Thanks.
The artwork is incredible.
They're good quality stuff. I got them right here.
Ooh, let's see.
Yeah, and you get 6. I think I put 7 on accident in the description, so I might just toss in an extra Monster. So you get the logo, which I think is a cool thing with the or this, So that's
Monsters.
there. You get sha-moo-moo, the oceanic battle boss. Irwin's original art where he has the anchor that's almost bigger than he is. I couldn't
That's
make it
so
that big
cool.
in the toy. And then we got Sting-Cobra, the venomous spike scoundrel who's a real jerk bag, you know, so we got him. And then we got a lot of people's favorites. This isn't part of the Kickstarter. This figure isn't there yet, but this is a hopeful future character. But this is Berserker. He's
Yeah,
a bear made of bears.
it's a Build-A-Bear to the extreme.
Yeah, I noticed. So the idea with him was originally, I'm like, I love my figure. Actually, I have it right here. I love my Too Bad figure. So I wanted a two-headed thing. So like, there's lots of different bears. I'll make it a polar bear, black bear, or panda bear, like a half and half bear. And his name was Bye Bear, which is stupid. And so someone Irwin about it, and he's like, "What about Berserker?" I'm like, "That's infinitely better than Bye Bear," or I think Bear Claw was my other one because I love the donut, you know, the Bear Claw donut. And then Irwin came up with the idea to shove the huge head in the chest, so that the two smaller heads will be the interchangeable heads, and the one big one will be sculpted in the chest. And then we got Woolly Mammoth, which was like, this is actually a few artists that worked on this one. Irwin started this. Another buddy, Billy Fowler, started on this. Then Tom Kizavat, who goes by Murderous Automaton, who's awesome. He did the final design. Irwin did the final inks. And then Tom and Irwin worked on the colors together. That way it's kind of like cohesive with the other ones. Then I'm including a bonus Kaiju Doom Battle of the Demon Gods. That's my other toy line IP I have. That's a licensing deal through this company called Acro. I just, you know, put in there as additional marketing. It's cool. It's heavy metal, you know, so.
That guy kind of, whenever there's like a ram or something like that, the horns, I think of, I had these toys and then I never knew the name, like, because I was just given them as a kid, but Barnyard Commandos.
Oh, yeah. Those are awesome. I think those
They're
are
so much fun.
Yeah, those are designed by James Groman. I'm 99% sure he designed them. I don't think he sculpted the original ones. But James Groman's like a living legend in the toy world, designer toy world too. And he's awesome. So it's cool. Like, it's weird thinking about like, oh, I had these as kids and I'm like hanging out with them. I'm like, you sculpted shit from my childhood. And he's like, don't make me feel old, you know, but he's such a cool dude. But yeah, I always try to like make sure that the first characters we do, they have like nice distinctions between them. Again, like, otherwise, I would just do Shark A, Shark B, eel, like, because I love underwater stuff. I want to make sure there's a variety. So, wanted a hair character after like we didn't have a hair character, you know. So, Woolly Berserker was my hair character, and then Woolly Mammoth kind of escalated up the thing too. But yeah, then we I
like the Lancian Air kind of tagline in the commercial.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was cool. All right, so next we have the Art of Digital Download.
Yeah, I thought like we have so much cool concept art. I figured, and I don't want to worry about printing it. That's actually an add-on that people wanted to make as a reward too. So, you know, most people have been getting that one as an add-on. But it's yeah, I don't know how many pages it's gonna be. It'll be cool. It'll be chock full of awesome stuff, and it won't be like the equivalent of like a 80-page book. It'll be like 20 pages. You know what I mean? It'll be
for sure.
It'll be cool stuff. So
yeah, I think that's great as an add-on. And now, so we got the little buddies that you can get just the set of or like as an add-on. I think again, these are super cool. Just like I had Unparalleled Universe on. I don't know if you know about the Odious Kickstarter, but he had some of these of the Odious character as like a simple
Keshi figure. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey man, you got any extras? Because I know he had them at Comic-Con and I forgot. But I'm like, I'm working. I want to make some too. So I'm working. You know, I was talking to Kyle about you. Kyle Wadiga.
Yeah.
Is that how we say it?
Woodliega. I think that's nice. Yeah. I'll say it different every single time because I don't care. If you have a name that complicated, you deserve to not have anyone ever know what it is. You know,
it's only 2 consonants in a row to, you know, given there are 2 consonants that don't normally go together.
There's a lot. It's like when you look at that word, like, that can't be how that's spelled. You know, you're like, what is this word? You know? Woodliega. Yeah, that was like Tom Kizavat, the guy I worked with on Woolly Mammoth. I looked at his name like a million times, like, is this how you say it? You know, how do you say your name? It has to be simple. Damn it.
I think it irks Kyle probably every time you do that. So please continue.
Yeah.
I
You know, the Keshi, the little buddies, they each come with the main figure. So you get like a blue version of the starfish with sha-moo-moo and a purple version of this camel spider with sting-cobra.
Yeah.
But if a bunch of people I know just want the figure, so I'm like, hey, I'll offer them as a variant colorway set, which is like the classic flesh tone from like muscle figures and other Keshi figures. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great option to have in there. And then we have the first of the 2 core figures, sha-moo-moo, 55 US. Backers will receive 1 standard sha-moo-moo with all of his accessories, 2 open hands, 2 weapon holding hands, anchor weapon, and his little buddy starfish. Oh, and a base.
Yep. Almost forgot that in the listing. I thought it was a fun way to include. Oh, and a base, don't forget that base.
Slap at a base. Yeah, so that's the the character we saw. I mean, we see the cow-like feet. I just noticed the hooves there.
If you scroll into the campaign page, there's like a really good there's a really good photo of
there we go.
Together. But then there's like a nice photo of just him, the starfish, down like a little bit more too, if you want to.
Kickstarter website, it's like there's this main page and then the tiers is like another thing. So if I expand one, it doesn't do this is out of control.
So one thing, Kevin, I'm kind of like an organizational freak, like in terms of like how I list the order of my figures and stuff, like the rewards.
Yeah.
And then Groman's the greatest of all time. He is. He's awesome. I have the man thing. I should have brought it in here. It's in the other room. But I had it all ordered in a certain flow. And then on the right side, like right there where the rewards are, it doesn't care what your order is. It just goes by dollar price. So when I had these all-in bundles, I had standard 1, standard 2, bronze 1, bronze 2, silver 1, silver 2, gold 1, gold 2. Nope. All in 1, all in bronze 1, all in standard 2, silver 1, all in bronze 2. I'm like, why? So yeah, over there they're out of order, but then in the main campaign, the middle thing, that's where you can and show them. So it might be easier just to look at it in the middle thing instead of on the right, because the right.
Oh, okay, cool.
The right's the thing you can click on, but the middle actually has the good photography and stuff. So
true. Okay, yeah, that's why I'm like, okay, we'll go middle then. It's like the Microsoft Word of crowdfund websites. It's like you press enter once and the whole thing explodes into stupid formatting.
That was the thing that I got to do when I launched, was the whole middle thing. So the middle thing, like, it's just the story and then the risks. And I get back, everyone's like, what am I buying? I was like, oh, okay, that's where it all goes. So I had to re-upload everything in the middle section. So that was fun.
Oh, yeah. All right, so chat, I see a lot of the questions. I've starred them, so I'm going to try and get to, we'll do a quick Q&A at the end. But also, some of the comments here. Thank you for the art book. Live for that stuff, but appreciate saving shelf space. Says Brick. What's up, Brick? Emperor Antonio of Seatopia. Thank you for tuning in. Says underwater characters like Jack from Titanic, his corpse mixed with an eel. Damn.
Jack from his corpse. Oh God, Jack. I'm like oh yeah, that thing. That little movie with an eel.
Josh Brown would like Keshi based versions of the characters of myself and my co-host DK that Taco Boy created. I mean, if the first one does well, again, show your support by supporting the first one, and then more can be made. All right, let's get back to the page here. Is there anything you want to call out on the sculpt while we have like these turnarounds of sha-moo-moo first before we move on?
I haven't actually updated yet. I'm going to, but we're actually updating the sculpt on both of them just a little bit. Sha-moo-moo was mostly done. We just added some more detail to him, so that's going to be reflected in a future update.
Okay.
But we like the great thing about technology now is you can just, with digital sculpting, you just kind of like 3D print at any stage and just take to a convention, like test the water, see what people think. So I printed sha-moo-moo version 1.0 at DesignerCon 2021. And then for DesignerCon 2022, I did an updated print of the sculpt. So sha-moo-moo 2.0, which is this one, and it was unpainted. And then DesignerCon 2023, I brought it painted, or the one before, I forgot. One of them, it was like, all right, now it's painted. And then Sting-Cobra, that's version 1.0. And I ran out of time to have them, the new one painted. So Sting-Cobra is getting an update, because when we did this test print, I just wanted it painted for the show. He had some balancing issues. Like, I want them to not rely on the base. I want them to be like good and solid on their own.
For sure.
And then the base is like extra. So his feet were making bigger and his toes a little more spread. So he has more of a footprint. Okay. We pushed like some of the texture detail we had in him was a little bit softer. So we pushed a lot of that. And then once we pushed him, we realized sha-moo-moo wasn't pushed enough. So we pushed them both. So I'm going to be doing an update on both those guys soon. Hopefully the next couple weeks when I confirm some things at the factory. But the swap outs right now are just the heads for heads and the arms for arms, which you see like kind of like the parts breakdown. This isn't like what we do for manufacturing. It's more to show like what parts going to be cut. So like sha-moo-moo's tail had to come off for production. So we're going to actually add a swivel in there. So his tail will just be able to swivel left and right. Sting-cobra's tail will swivel, arms swivels, wrists will probably swivel, the head swivel, the waist will swivel. So with Sting-Cobra, the thing we got in last second was we made the tail where it connects to the body big enough to it matches the arm. So you can actually take Sting-Cobra's tail off. And it's not confirmed yet, but we're trying to make it so you can put it like on the arm. So you have like a
that's cool.
Yeah. So it's not confirmed yet 100%, but it's something we're like trying for. So I want to save those things for future updates, but just kind of like give people a little look into like what we're up to behind the scenes. So yeah.
Nice. And so like we saw in the commercial, like you can swap out parts with, different characters. And these, so just so I understand, are these cuts here where ultimately you'd be able to swap parts for the final product, or that's the goal?
So the like things like the wrists, they'll swap just on Sting-Cobra. So just his like little pincher hand for just his one hand, and then the giant claw will be the only thing that goes on that one hand. But the whole arm will be universal. So like Sting-Cobra's whole arm can go on sha-moo-moo, his whole head can go on sha-moo-moo, and vice versa. And then like so that's like the main advertising. Then we're gonna try and work in like bonus things as well. Like maybe that wrist size could work with sha-moo-moo's wrist, or maybe that tail could do this, or so we're like looking at things, but right now it's just arms for arms, heads for heads.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good to know. Are these like, do Cobras have these? I've never looked closely at a Cobra, but when I saw this, it reminded me of like crab hands.
Oh, it's a scorpion. So it's scorpion tail and scorpion hand.
Scorpion.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Cobra. I'm like, dude, snakes do not have arms.
Yeah, they don't have arms at all.
Kevin,
what am I talking about?
It's because it's a Saturday and you normally use it on Thursday.
Yeah, I thought I was on mute. I wasn't trying to say that out loud. Okay, so here's
sidebar.
Here's an example of the arm swaps and the tails.
The head swaps, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And the colors, like even though you have sha-moo-moo in that kind of what kind of blue would you call this? It's not. It's
like dark teal.
Dark teal, yeah. Dark teal, white, and then this kind of almost acidic. Is it acidic green? Would you call it venomous green?
Sure, we will call it that now. I just called it bright ass green, so now I'm calling it venomous green.
But like they work together like on this swap. I think that's the cool part. Not only are they bright, and when you look at it, it kind of stands out, but even after the part swap, I think it's a pretty good mesh of those colors. Yeah. Oh, and there you go.
Yeah, that's right. That was so the night before, like at literally 3 a.m. on the like Tuesday morning, Monday night, I was texting Erwin because I was looking at the tiers. I wanted something for the digital high five. And I had a placeholder image from Predator, like, you son of a bitch. So I'm like, Erwin, can you draw this and make it them? And he did that in like half an hour for me. He's like, so it's literally like the hours before we went live, got this awesome little drawing out of Erwin Papa. So
okay.
Yeah.
What's the Pantone on that green?
Oh boy. It's venomous green, obviously.
Venomous.
Yeah, it's P1568,
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, so again, so this is the first one we looked at. sha-moo-moo 55 comes with a little buddy there, and then Sting-Cobra. Yeah, that's why I said Cobra. Okay, I didn't make it up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's part Cobra, part so they're all. I forgot if I said this earlier, and they're all two animals hybrid together. So, yeah.
Okay.
I like you're like, wait,
I got to figure it out. It's a left hand, right hand. Donation set. This pledge is for anyone who wants to support the campaign but wishes to gift a set with all their accessories and their little buddies to charity. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's something I haven't seen anyone else do.
I've never seen.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like, and my margins are super thin on this, by the way. That's otherwise I try to make it as cheap as possible where I'm not losing $5 every set that's donated, because I'm like, well, I went broke doing this donation thing. So it's like it's right at the break even plus a couple dollars of like flex room for me. Like I really don't have like any margin on these figures, but you know, I was like, no one's ever really done this before. I thought it'd be a fun way. Like I love that kids at conventions have loved these toys.
Yeah.
Other people, like I just got a text from a friend that said he showed this to his buddy who's a celebrity influencer. He showed it to his kid. His kid was like, we have to get all those figures, Dad, because they saw the toy commercial and they loved them all. So it's like, it's really cool that like it's not just for us who like grew up with this kind of stuff. It's also for like kids now that love animals. They love weirds, and the bright, vivid colors are cool too. So I'm like, how can I do this and get it in more kids' hands? I'm like, let's do it. Toys for Tots and charities kind of a thing. So
that's beautiful.
It's that, and then every 20 sets we sell, I'm donating a set. So that's the one I'm donating.
Oh, that's so cool.
So, yeah,
I love that, man. Yeah, we try to do like a toy drive every year on the channel, and then last year we ended up doing a charity stream because I really believe, like, you know, we love toys. Obviously, we grew up with toys and that magic, like that story you told of waking up Christmas morning, coming down, and just, you know, having presents ready to go. Like I know not everyone gets that experience,
100%.
right? So it was very important for me to try, you know, to have this platform like this to help people try to hop on and get people to do stuff. So to see this as part of the Kickstarter, I think that's super cool.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah. If you are interested in both characters, get them for $99, a little discount there if you order them together.
$11 discount. $11 adds up. I did this as just in case I want to get two sets, one to keep in the box, one to keep out of the box, or break them both out and they keep a set as is, and then they can mix and match the other set.
Yeah,
I found a lot of people, if they want more than the two characters, they want the other characters, which has been really, like, the all-ins have been way more successful than I thought. So I don't think a single person's bought this tier yet, which is fine because other people have like, I buy this set, then I buy the glow-in-the-dark eyes or Bulltooth and all the other ones. So it's been really fun seeing how people, because you can track like what all and all the mixing and matching people are doing. There's not like a real consistent pattern, you know, which is awesome. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost you anything extra to create this extra combination other than layering these photos on top of themselves, slightly staggered. So, you know, why not give somebody the option if they wanted to?
Yeah, I put the text on there too, Kevin. There's some text on the
sorry, I didn't want you to diminish your.
Jeez, there's a lot of effort put into that one skill. I had to write a whole new brief, you know. Oh, like this.
The copy. What about the copywriting?
Look at lots of copy. There you go. See.
All right. We also have here Bulltooth.
Yeah, my buddy, I think Eric came up with that name. I forgot who. Like, sometimes we come up with names first and we design a character. Sometimes I'm like, all right, I just want a snail lamprey character, and we came up with the name Escar Bro after the fact. It's a future character. So yeah, my wife's best friend, who's my booth babe, she helps me at like all these conventions. She's hilarious. They're both really good with puns, and I had Snail Bro as the placeholder name because I just need something. And then he came up with Escar Bro. I'm like, oh yes, chef's kiss. So yeah, Bulltooth was our first effort of like, all right, we got to amortize this cost. And originally I didn't want to do any other variants. I wanted to do just sha-moo-moo, sting-cobra, and then just Bulltooth, which is a unique head and a unique weapon. So he won't come with the sha-moo-moo head. He won't come with the anchor, but it comes with this new harpoon. It comes with the new head. And then comes with a little starfish buddy in a variant color, which is fun. So my rule with the variant characters like this that are new sculpted parts on top, they have to look kind of derpy. They can't be like cool, like he has kind of like this intense derpiness to his face. Like when you see his eyes, like this, like he's kind of stupid looking in a great way. You know, I want him to look kind of stupid. So like there's not much up there. You know, yes, master. Oh, fight, and that's all he does.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Matt Logic? You're in here. Josh Brown says for the kids, absolutely. I love Bulltooth. I have slight dyslexia, so I kept seeing Bluetooth at first. He reminds me of Freestyle Shark watch I wanted in the 90s.
I don't know what that watch. That's cool though. A lot of people love this one more than sha-moo-moo. Like there's a bunch of people who bought this character and then did other add-ons. And
I like this color palette too.
Yeah, it's so Erwin, when we were coming up with variants, he took just the sha-moo-moo art he did and then just came with a bunch of different color combos. And then he also was designing the head separately. Then we just picked our favorite color combo, picked our head, and just made him. So that was fun.
And then Ven Num Num.
The Nom Nom. Yeah, because he's chewing on his tongue and it's hanging out. And he's again kind of
very derpy.
Yeah, very derpy, but he still looks cool. You know,
Yeah.
like cool derpiness. So yeah, new head. So actually, this character. Sorry if you hear my dogs are guarding, but the sting-cobra comes with a pincer hand, and then this guy has the clawed hand. And I was like, well, I can't not have that hand with sting-cobra. So we earlier in the gray render, I included that hand. So we haven't actually painted that hand to go with sting-cobra yet, but sting-cobra and him come with both the pincer hand and the hand.
Okay.
So, yep.
Awesome.
Some people have asked. I'm like, they're both coming with all those parts, just different heads. So yeah. Then the set. If you want the set of those guys.
Yep.
Yeah, a little
Very
discount.
cool.
And then the time, heavy double stacked with the little text on the front,
Yep.
Yeah. In case you want to. And so this was like last second, right before the campaign went live. I've always had this idea. So he's not done. It's like a work in progress. I'm working with an artist now to update the colors, but this is I'm calling it a color swap variant. So it's sha-moo-moo with sting-cobra's color scheme on him.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have a weapon painted for sting-cobra. So the anchor is currently white. It will not be white. It'll be colored. And then his colors are a little bit off. So we're gonna be updating it, getting update art soon. But yeah, that's what sha-moo with sting-cobra. That way I thought if someone bought sting-cobra and bought sha-moo-moo and then they wanted the parts on, but they could match, they could do it this way.
Yeah, so you can match swap the parts, but also mix and match the parts, but have the same color scheme.
Yeah.
For one. Okay. Yeah. I mean that's awesome to have. It seems very thought out for all the possible combinations that people would want. So that's a great option. Same for this one also.
It could open a huge rabbit hole because it's like, well, then do Bold Tooth and Venomnom's color, Venom, and then you do sting-cobra and Venom. Then you can do sha-moo and Venomnom colors. I'm like, no, it's just,
David, if your fans are like, hey, give me how if you look at a lot of the toy community nowadays, it's just like everything's just repaints and I hate repaints. If you have your fans going like, I want repaints, it's like don't twist my arm.
Yeah, no, I know, because it helps with amortizing the tool.
For sure.
I did this very hesitantly. I had at one point 8 different variant options as a menu. I merged 2 ideas together. I clipped an idea because I didn't want to be that guy. It's like, here's 20,000 different versions of this thing. Yeah. It just gets messy. So glow in the dark though is very popular. So I knew people wanted glow in the dark. So it's going to be a injection glow. And again, there's a Photoshop render to show what the idea would be. But the brightest parts would be the white on him. A little glow would come out of the darker parts, and then the armor and stuff. So it'll be a more limited color palette. It'll be instead of 6, it'll be 4 or something. Right. But it'll be a nice breakup.
Yeah,
that's injection glow, like what Super 7 and NECA do. So, and then sting-cobra, same thing.
Beautiful. A lot of options there, and then we have the Kickstarter exclusive translucent blue. This is really cool.
And that's a render. My buddy Tiago Zanabini, who helped me sculpt all these things, he did that in Keyshot. I didn't want
a render.
Yeah, it's a digital render. So Keyshot's an amazing program. You can take a model into, and you just say, all right, it's 4 p.m. on Sunday in the middle of spring, a little bit, or whatever. You just, it's in a room with white back, just boop, hit a button, and here's all your material choices. And it's I don't know how to use it, but yeah. And I feel that's really close to what's going to freaking look like. So that's a Kickstarter exclusive. I didn't know what to call it. It's just blue translucent, but I like the blue with the water. So if you got him in regular sha-moo, we could pop his arm off and give him the blue arm. That's he's got a water energy arm.
Yeah, like a Aquaman, not Aquaman. What's it? Hydro Man style power set.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Aquaman had the hand though before he got the harpoon thing. He had the water hand, or after he had a water hand at one point.
Did he have a water hand?
Yeah. One point for a little bit. Then sting-cobra with his green energy. I just didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, he's green. Let's just give him green energy. So whatever that is, I really. So then this goes back to what the things are as add-ons. So there's the sticker pack. Then there's the art of book, and then we have the Keshi set. And then the thing we didn't make a pledge just because to me it is an add-on is the weapons pack. So it's going to be a unique axe, a unique trident, and a unique sword. And they'll all have a universal handle, because I hate when you get figures with hands like this. They're kind of cupped, and you try and put your weapon in, and then they kind of stay, and then they kind of fall. Or they're like almost closed, and you have to like pry them open to get a weapon in there. So I'm making the weapons 2 parts. You can slide one in, and the other one goes
Oh,
on.
I love when that's a consideration to taking the knob off of a handle so you can put it through or something like that. That's
They're all gonna have the exact same handle, and then those have different ends and tops, so they can come in and out really easy. So that'll be and the trident's huge. The trident's gonna be as big as that harpoon, and the axe is a big battle axe, and they look small because of the trident's so big. But that's like a chonky axe and chonky sword, so it'll be cool.
And they will be painted, right?
Yeah. This
okay.
render.
Cool.
Yeah, they're gonna. Erwin did some. I'm actually waiting on the Tiago who did the renders of the blue sha-moo-moo and green sting-cobra. He's in the middle of doing a digital render for me with the colors on them and everything, so I can kind of like make that another update. So, yep.
Awesome. All right, and we have an all-in option here.
Yep.
At 2, all-in standard 1, all-in standard 2 with
2 of everything, just not
everything.
the digital art book. So it's like 2 weapons, 2 cashy packs. I'll throw 2 stickers in there too. I mean, 2 sticker packs, why not? They're like the cheapest thing. But yeah, just in case, actually a few people have bought that, but they didn't buy like the 2 sets of Sting-Cobra and sha-moo-moo with the 2, but they got all in ×2, which I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go get 2 of those sets, go for the extra artwork and little buddies and weapons and everything.
Yeah. And it shows what the value is, so you can see what you save. So I forgot what that one. It says like the value is 450, but you get for 415. So it's like,
oh yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah. So bronze is everything out before I just include the color swap version. So I try to make like the add-on, like the all-ins, like it makes sense. It's not like, oh, this is confusing. It's like, oh, I just added these figures in. Then you get 1 set or you get 2 sets. And then the price just keeps dropping. So actually it is the best value, where it's already like discounted. I'm adding another like $5 discount or $10 discount every time. So like the cheapest way, dude, it was hard. I ran all these numbers for like 48 hours before just to make sure. I'm like, are people going to do the math? Because I know there would be someone who would do the math like, oh, if I bought 2 of this, just add on this, that's cheaper. I'm like, nope, this is literally the cheapest way you can get all that stuff for like $5 or $10, So
I would be that person. What if I buy the fries and the burger separate, but I don't get a drink?
So I had
is it worth?
So when I had more stuff, like the all-ins became more confusing. This helped me like realizing to trim a bunch of stuff. So I made it just standard bronze, silver, gold. It just felt
okay
to remember to me. So all-in bronze ×2, you get 2 sets of everything. If you want to really go crazy. And then all-in silver is all the same figures, but now you get the glow-in-the-dark figures.
Ooh, 1 of each.
Yeah,
cool.
Of all that stuff. Then all-in silver 2 is just 2 of all that stuff. Look at all that stacking attitude, Kevin. There's a lot of image stacking there, in this one.
Are they all evenly spaced?
No, they're eyeballed. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was a joke. I didn't mean to point it out.
No, seriously. It like, I was like, oh, if I do all these measurements, I'm like, nope. If you look carefully, though, like one head's popping out more than the other. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, I just want like just the eyes on one and then the full head on the other. I just look at the color swap ones. Look, I screwed up on the color swap ones. Like, the top 2 are consistent. The next 2 are consistent. Then the color swaps are even. I just realized I messed up. Damn it! Just now, live.
Nobody saw that. Nobody heard it, guys.
Yeah, I'm a flawed human being.
I'm a fraud. I'm so vain. No, I'm kidding.
I'm out of here. Yeah, so vain. And then gold gives them the translucent. So it's all of them plus the translucent, which is Kickstarter only.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. And gold. There's a gold 2. 2 of everything, including the Kickstarter exclusive.
And gold 2 is actually a bigger discount. Actually, because it's going to be like, based on the math I was doing before, it would have been like $1,009. But I'm like, screw it, $999. So I gave it like whatever the discount was going to be. It was like an additional $10 off that. So,
hey, is this the man himself?
Yeah, it's Erwin.
Hey. Welcome to the show.
Designed a lot of this, like the majority of this. And then my buddy, like some other designers helped out too. My buddy Christopher Flork designed the little buddies that they come with. Tom Kizavat, who I mentioned, helped out on Woolly Mammoth. My buddy Aiden Casserly worked on a couple characters that didn't make it into this campaign, but they're in the future stuff. But yeah, this has been me and Erwin jamming together. Oh, so retailer special. Actually, at conventions was approached by a couple of smaller comic book shops. Like, are you going to offer wholesale? So this is like just for people that want to resell these.
Right.
And I actually got, sold a few of the retailer specials. It's like a huge bundled thing. It's discounted. It's discounted more based on like how many you get. So
Oh yeah, that's for something like this, that's given option to a retailer. I think it's a huge help too. But hey, Erwin, welcome to the show. You're talking about the artwork. A lot of the designs on here are super cool. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, Kevin hated all your art earlier. Right before you came on, he was like, "Oh God, Erwin, he's such a bad artist." I'm like, "I know, right? He's the only guy available, so I had to work with him."
I didn't know he was going to show up, or else I wouldn't have talked so much trash. Yeah.
So Kevin, on this one, I could make the fit right, so I stretched him out. So if you look, they're all like, "Whoa, you got 40 figures!" You see that? Like I stretched him widthwise right there. So there, that's one of the fit in a certain way. So I just went crazy. I went to Photoshop. I did this.
What was it? The Emperor Antonio Cetopia says they're not equally spaced. But canceled.
I deserve it. You know what? I'm just gonna close this thing. Failed. Did not get funded. And then it was very important for me to have a credits page because a good buddy of mine, David Silva, he owns Creative Beast Studio. They do the Cryptozoic, like the dinosaur toys.
Okay.
He's been awesome at giving me feedback. He's been like, "Hey David, I'm freaking out. Can I hop on a call with you?" And we talked for like half an hour, and make sure like I was setting something up right, or he gave me feedback based on production. So one thing I love that because I've always been very pro like artists, but I saw on his thing he did this awesome little visual of like all the artists' credits, and that to me is very important. So I treat it kind of like a movie where you would scroll. It's like, oh, design, oh, sculpt, paint, production, story and additional art, and the logo and IGOSTUFF logo, and the campaign help, and then special thanks. Obviously, like my mom, my dad, my wife, my friends.
Yeah, I love stuff like this. I know like NECA does a lot of
they're awesome
on the bottom of their box. Four Horsemen does a lot of that too. So especially for I feel like for something like this where it's like your first project, and there's probably a lot of people who are just to certain degrees, like whether they're just donating some of their time or some advice or something. It's like it all is important into making this into a reality. So like this kind of stuff is, no one's gonna be like, why are you thanking these people like this? It's beautiful to see that, like it's deservedly so. Their name should be up there and credited.
Thanks. Yeah, this is cool. Like a lot, like coming as an artist myself, it's like I applaud what NECA does, but at the same time, like if you put everyone involved in that thing on like each box, I'm just like, where do you stop? It's almost like it was like, oh, do you put? Oh, well, I figured out the thing on the. Oh, that guy did most packaging, but I edited that one thing on the package.
Right.
I did Photoshop for submissions. It's like that's where it gets like weird, and not that like I love that they do what they do, but it's just like it becomes like a weird line, and that like where do you draw that line in the sand? Because I've seen that happen with other people where it's like, oh, like sculptors and designers always get top credit. They're the most important because they design and sculpt. But what about me? It's like, I don't know, man. Like, happens in movies. Actors get top billing, and it sucks that, like, yeah, I get like people don't know about like the boom operators or whatever. It's like, it just sometimes there are people that like help the effort. And it sounds weird. I'm going to step back this comment a little bit, but it's just like sometimes there are things that people want to know, like who designed this, who sculpted this becomes like a huge thing. And, so I try to listen the order of like, oh, it started with design, went to sculpt, went to this, went to this, went to this. So
that's fair. That's fair. All right. I'm going to pull up these photos, leave them on here. And there were some questions for you.
Love questions. Let's do it. Especially mean ones. Any mean tweets? Let's do it.
How can there be mean questions?
You never know. Like they could say it in all caps and put an exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. So like
or no question mark. Then it seems like that sounds even meaner.
Yeah. I think. Angry questions could be, why are they so expensive? Angry question.
True.
Yeah.
All right. We have Justin. This is a very early question. Says, hey David, what's the plan if you blow away past the stretch goal? Will you add another character / new mold?
So I've thought about that. It just becomes like, I don't want to like bite off more than I can chew. I'd rather do what I'm doing and do the best I can do and focus on that, and then just make the next Kickstarter about the new characters and be like, all right, cool. These two did great. Maybe they're a stretch goal I'm considering is like new unique heads that are variants with a new paint scheme, which I get can become tiresome. But to me, it's like if they look really cool, I'm going to offer it, not just offer it because like I got to do it. But so the goal right now is stretch goals. If it blows way out, I stole this from McFarlane, but I want to include small things that could go with them. Not like a ton. I can't afford what he can afford, but like I want to make one of the early stretch goals. Like if we get funded at 120, I'm not sure where it would be. Maybe it'd be like 160,000 would be they each come with like a new unique knife weapon. So you could just like, oh, sha-moo-moo has his anchor and then he gets this cool aqua themed knife. Erwin and I were working on designs like last week of what those could be. So it's not confirmed yet. And then I want to do like punching fists, you know, because like right now they have fists to hold stuff, but they don't have like I want to show sha-moo-moo punching sting-cobra. You know, it's like you could have his weapon hand. It looks kind of like a fist, but I want to do like a full-on gnarly fist. And since sting-cobra only comes with the one hand, I want to maybe give him like a spike brass knuckle thing, and sha-moo just like two cool things with maybe like shells on them, something just to make him a little bit, you know, cooler. Like and again, like I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do that. I have to really like run the numbers about like the tooling costs and everything like that. But that's like the goal is include free stuff, include maybe some, hey, with free stuff, like, hey, if we hit this goal, this would be something I would include for free. If you bought these, if you didn't buy these things, then it could be a purchasable add-on for like $5. Make it like really affordable. And then also maybe be like, oh, hey, here's the gold super limited edition of 50 Kickstarter only version of this character. And hey, oh, we got to 120 or 200,000. All right, let's maybe introduce new characters, new heads, not full new characters, but like, you know, unique variants. But yeah, I don't think I would rush like Woolly Rameth or Berserker as like a stretch goal in this. I would want to make a campaign about them, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense. Awesome. Erwin, of course, contradicting the lies that you've been hearing. Brick Something says you're working with great artists. Love Erwin and Automaton. Can't wait to see this line develop. See, it's all love. It's all love. Why did you guys paint me into this corner? It's so strange.
Fake hate. Fake hate's fun sometimes. Just a little fake, you know.
Let's see. Rubbing over. Let's not make that a saying. Will we ever see a ninja characters? Is that?
Yeah, and Justin, by the way, hi Justin. I see Justin like a lot of these popping in and stuff.
Yeah.
He might have asked questions of the campaign too, but seems like he comes up a lot. But I always think of like right now they're definitely more on like the gladiator tribal barbarian side of things, but down the line, I'm not against like a ninja character. Just, to me, it has to like make sense. Like someone was asking on another stream about like weapons and technology and stuff. And I'm like, well, I have an idea for how I would introduce guns and lasers and tech in this world, but to me, that's like way later. You know, I want to get like a lot of this out first. That would be like like in certain like Ninja Turtles lines when they got to like the sumo turtles or something like weird like that. To me, that's where like laser technology would come. But we do have plans for like dinosaurs, which I'm really excited about. Dinosaurs would be like wave 3, and they wouldn't be like, oh, it's dinosaurs only. It'd be like a couple main characters and then a couple of dinosaur characters. So we have plans to like how it expands. I just want to do it right. Like a few, the ninja question, and then a couple people like, you have to do a female warrior. And I don't want to like force it right now. They're buff brawler beastly bros, you know? So it's like, I'm just keeping them bros, and maybe I'll find the right like warrior female that's like diesel as hell that fits with this line. It's like the right character. I don't want to do it just because, you know.
Makes sense. Yeah. You know, not forcing it, you know, just let it come naturally. I get that. Ryan Dole is here. What's up, my friend? From
oh yeah. Talked to you the other night. Yeah, Ryan's awesome.
Sculptors need credit to help build a portfolio. Yes, absolutely. You know, like I said in the beginning, like you know, I'm just learning more about the behind the scenes stuff of toys and people who are making toys, working on toys. So I do see, as I've met more of these people, it's like you know, sometimes they're in-house jobs or like freelancing for this and that. So, you know, having your work out there and your name out there is obviously a huge part of their livelihood. Totally makes sense. What's up, Ryan? Where we go?
One thing that comes with the credit too, because I got in trouble a couple times when I was at Sideshow because I forgot. Like there'd be a team of 20 artists on this project. I would forget one, and most people would understand. Like, hey, Dave, you forgot my credit, I would update it immediately. But some people realize too, like a lot of times, like the portfolio, you can have the portfolio. You just need like sometimes, like it's rare. Sometimes someone's like, oh, who did the thing on the? Oh, that guy did that thing. Like I want to give this guy a job. That happens sometimes. Usually, like the work comes up because of like an awesome art station or an awesome Instagram, and you're networking and everything. Like the credit on a thing can help. But to me, it's always about like making sure you're getting your work out there. I know some places are weird about you sharing your work. I've always been very pro, like let artists share their work.
Yeah.
But he's got to also make sure it's like it's okay, because sometimes there's a version they want to show that's earlier that wasn't approved by the licensor. Maybe we had to change things after the artist turned it in, and we can't show what they did. So it's like it's always like with me, I always tell artists, if you want to share something, let me know. Send me the images you want to do, and I'll just tell you if they're safe to approve. Because Mattel might not want you to show like the nude anatomy of our Skeletor statue. One of the artists who worked on the Skeletor posted on Instagram, like not naked, like he had his junk, but it was like him without any of his clothes. Like, dude, we can't show it that way. Like you just, so it's like, hey, take that down. Send me what you want clothed, and then I'll approve. Like you can do shirtless, maybe. Anyway, sorry, that's a whole tangent.
Yeah, licensors are, they have an image sometimes of they want to protect. So I mean that's not the only thing. I'm sure there's tons behind the scenes. So yeah, that makes total sense. Josh Brown says, have you heard any interest from any retailers? I know you have a retailer offering or package, and you said there's been people who've asked you at shows and backed a few of those, right?
Yeah. So actually, I reached out to a guy too that he was the first like retail that hit me up. And this is back when I just brought sha-moo-moo on painted for the very first time, and he has a shop in Florida somewhere. But he was a friend of a friend, so I reached out to him recently, like, hey, remember that thing you asked me about 3 years ago? It's happening, and there's retailer versions. And because you were the first one that was cool to ask him about that, like I would offer him like, hey, I know I didn't have retailer exclusives or pricing for like Ven Nom Nom and Bulltooth, but I would make an exception for certain people. But right now, I'm kind of like just the main versions of the characters would be easiest for me. But yeah, so there's been some, and I actually have a stack of flyers I made. I'm going to be hitting up a lot of shops in LA to be like, here's some flyers for this Kickstarter I have, if you wouldn't mind passing them out. And then also like, if you want these in your store, I have retailer exclusives. So I'm about ready to hit the ground running. And my buddy Brett Barton, he runs a show called Joe Lanta and Toy Lanta. I think Joe Lanta's coming up end of this month. He told me to send him a stack of flyers because I couldn't be at the show, and he's going to promote it there. And he already gave them to, he mailed some out to the local stores around his place. And I had a friend text me a photo of one of the flyers in his shop. He's like, dude, your monsters are on a flyer in my shop. And I was like, hell yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Like, I gave this one, they gave it to someone else that's actually in shop. So hopefully, yeah.
Have you hit up like maybe like a BBTS or something, like online retailers, or like was that considered?
Yeah. I actually had a really good talk with Joel from Big Bad the other day. So we're in discussions to see like what could be there. So
that'd be great.
Yeah, Joel, super awesome. Had a great call with him, and he obviously helped huge with like Brutal Realm getting funded recently. So
yeah,
it's great seeing like, and he's also a fan of this stuff. Like he loves this stuff. He's a collector himself. So it's cool. Like his first Kickstarter he backed, he's like, I just bought a bunch for myself to keep. And then he's like, they asked like, hey, would you want to sell us? And he's like, I didn't even think of that. Cause when he was first, he's like, oh yeah, the big toy store. But it's like, oh yeah, there's these indie efforts. So he's been a huge supporter of this stuff. I can't thank Joel, and he's also an awesome dude. Super, super, super awesome dude. So yeah,
nice. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if they get involved, and we're part of pushing this over the line early, or even to higher levels. That'd be cool to see. We have Figure Report in here. What's going on, Mikey? Good to see you. Diggs Figs is backer number 108 here with Sting-Cobra's big claw be removable.
So I'm not sure if it will be removable. Like it might have to come off the packaging, but we don't have plans for like another right hand for him. You know what I mean? So it's like Sting-Cobra's like that's his like thing. And I wanted to do like, oh, let's do a giant right claw, giant left claw, then hands of both. But I'm like, oh, that's like so much more tooling. I was like, and he already has that tail. So to make him and sha-moo-moo balance, sha-moo-moo gets the 2 weapon hands, the 2 expression hands, and Sting-Cobra gets the 2 hands for the one side, the giant claw, and the giant tail, and he has a tongue. He's more expensive to make per figure, but I try to make him the same pricing. So instead of making him like a $5 more and sha-moo-moo was like less, but I don't know if it'll actually be removable. Sorry, long answer for what should have been. I don't know. I don't know. maybe, yeah.
All right, not a no is
not a no. That'd be a good T-shirt. Not a no.
not a no. We have DK's here from the club messaging. Thank you, DK.
Oh, awesome. He's from the club. Go enjoy your clubbing. Go have a drink on us, you know? Just kidding.
No, not on me.
Not me either. I'm poor right now. I'm doing a Kickstarter.
We're
Buy me
working.
a drink. Yeah, buy me a drink, DK.
We're working and he's out and I'm buying him a drink. That is preposterous.
Yeah.
Change your name to preposterous, DK, not ridiculous. What Josh Brown says, without BBTS, we likely wouldn't have Odious or Brutal Realm. I mean, it makes sense. Like, it helps back the project. It's available for more people. I think it's cool that there's like a collector there who, like you said, oh, I'm just buying this for myself. Oh wait, I can sell these. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
The hard thing with that financially is just like, I mean, you're selling it for wholesale to them, and then when Joel funds your project, which is great, then there's the Kickstarter fees and all that stuff, so you're getting another clip removed from that.
Mhm.
So it's like something I go into cautiously, just because it's like, yeah, the numbers help obviously, but at the same time it's like, what does it really mean? You know, like when you're like, oh, I got funding, it's like, cool, well, that's 5% Kickstarter, 5% transaction fees for credit cards, and then, you know, like it's like it's just like, it's not like an easy thing. Like it is in a way, because you want to fund. Obviously, like I would take it a hit to fund, but at the same time, it's like, you got to make sure the numbers make sense. I think a lot of people jump into things assuming something, but then when you're trying to sell for this, and it's on sale somewhere else, you know, and then it's like, it's a weird thing. There's no like perfect answer, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's pros and cons to both. But Joel had a great talk with Joel. I was able to pick his brain about a lot of this stuff, and he was very open to make sure it made sense for both of us, not just like, I went into this conversation assuming he was going to like be squeezing my balls, just because I've had that experience with other big people where they're like, they squeeze like
Right.
there's nope. Who are you? Oh, there's a new indie toy. You don't have a line. You don't have anything. So this is the deal I'm giving you because I'm backing it. But Joel is awesome. He gave me like it's in a positive direction for sure. I just don't want to say anything too soon until like,
of course,
locked in. So yeah.
That's
cool. I didn't know he helped.
I've heard he's pretty open with you know, with chatting with people and things like that too. So that's cool to hear. The Emperor Antonio of Seatopia with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Says for someone to buy a drink.
Not, well, you know, it's definitely for you, Kevin.
Yeah, that's that's
the guy who's currently not working, you know.
Drinks in America are like expensive. Like you go to a dinner, it's like $18-20 for like a,
it depends
like a
where
cocktail or something at a restaurant.
It can be. You can find some restaurants that are like my favorite place. One of my favorite places is in LA. It's called Doghouse, Haus. They have hot dogs and they have big hamburgers. Now they have breakfast burritos, and they're like my favorite breakfast burrito. But they have like super reasonably priced drinks and stuff. Not cocktail beer is like not insane, you know. It's like, sweet, I can go there and get a beer, and it's not like a $20 beer.
Thank God. Yeah. It's like everywhere I try to eat, it's like trying to eat at a baseball stadium. Like it's just all stadium pricing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We got one last question here. Would we ever see these characters in statue form based on your experience?
Oh man, I mean, like that'd be great. You know, it's just like right now the goal is definitely toys. And like there's not even statues of street sharks right now. You know what I mean? That's been like around a lot longer, more visibility. It's weird because toys cost more to make because of tooling and the numbers you have to move. Statues are relatively cheaper to make in a weird way, but they cost more for the consumer, right? So you're like, oh, a statue like this big is like $500. Oh my God, it's like, yeah, but we're only making like 300 of these things or something. You know what I mean? It's like the numbers are different. But I mean, I would love to see statues. For me right now, it's toys first, and we're working on something else. I have an outline for a cartoon show I would love to do, because I wanted to go into these things where it feels like there's something more behind them, and not just like, oh, they're just these toys.
Oh
So I've
yeah,
already
lore and backstory. I think it just adds a different level to when you handle the toys and when you look at it, what you're picturing in your mind. It's
yeah.
a
So
huge
like in the talking head video, I kind of show it. I show this world map we were working on for something else. I'm like, that helped me kind of like figure out what other characters I want to do in the future. So I started plotting characters on the map to be like, where are they from? I'm like, oh, I have a lot of characters here, but I have no characters from here. I need to, what would go in the jungle? What would go here? Like, what would go in the, so that was a really fun
Okay.
tool, actually, to help me figure out like
Oh
future
yeah,
characters too. So
almost like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah, literal map.
yeah. And
Very
then that
cool.
also helped me with, then I had that tool also for the story. I'm like, all right, well, they all, sha-moo-moo starts in Wetlandia and sting-cobra starts in the desert and woolly mammoth starts in the tundra. It's like, how do they meet? Why would they meet? So these are like the questions I started to ask myself while I was working with my writing partner, Eric Barnes, who's awesome. And we came up with some scenarios and I came up with we came up with ideas. Then I would kind of work on it for a bit, get to a point. He'd come over, we'd have lunch, talk about that. I'd pass him the ball. He would work on it, send it back. And we have a really fun outline for what would be essentially a season 1 cartoon show.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
I broke it up kind of like, do you remember like in the Justice League animated show, how like the original one, how like the first 3 episodes were essentially like 3-part, it was like an hour and a half movie, essentially. Yeah. So with this, we have 6 half-an-hour episodes that would be a 3-hour long movie, or 6 half-hour be a 3-hour movie. That's how I try to make them still feel episodic. But then if you put them all together, it's like an epic, cool movie. And then it ends with a cliffhanger and setup of this new world. And season 2 would get in like new characters. I used Game of Thrones for a lot of the base of this, like like inspiration of like good guys do bad things, do accomplish this, and bad guys can become good, like Jaime Lannister, where you hate him, then you kind of love him, and then some bad guys get worse, like Joffrey Baratheon gets worse. So I was like, I loved that thing. I wanted that, but like a PG-13 version, so like kids could watch it, but adults too could watch it and enjoy it. Yeah,
cool. I love that idea. Josh Brown, where would the non-Kickstarter exclusives, I don't know if you know this yet, non-Kickstarter exclusives be available for purchase after this succeeds and they are produced? An official Monsters site or various online retailers?
Why is he asking all these hard questions? I'm like, dude, I'm taking this 1 week at a time. So yeah, I don't even have a website. I have a .com domain that redirects to a link tree that has like the Kickstarter listed, and you know what I mean? So it like goes to the Kickstarter. So after, like from what I hear after a Kickstarter from everyone else, is like after that becomes all about the backer kit, make sure all the people that pledge can, they're happy with what they got, or they can edit their purchases or whatever, and they can keep adding more to it in the backer kit. Sometimes how long that process is. But then they also give you a pre-order page. So it's kind of like, hey, we also provide this service. So it'll probably be focused through that. And then if things go great with Joel, then I would focus on the backer kit pre-order page, then distribution with Joel, Big Bad, or other outlet. But like, I'm not I got to focus on like 80 different things. I'm like, the economy of my time and the efficiency of my time is like important. So it's like, all right, if I have to put these up for sale, where would I want it after the Kickstarter? Backer kit page seems clean. Big Bad Toy Store seems clean. Then obviously if any retailers hit me up, we can figure out like wholesale retailer separately, but I'm not looking to like have a bunch like, oh, and an Amazon store. It's like, I maybe, but like, I know that's also another whole undertaking. So it's like, where do I want my time to go after this? And I want to fulfill this thing. It's like, yeah, the second Kickstarter, if this goes great, would be awesome. But hey, I can develop the cartoon show a little bit more. Now I can be like, hey, look, Netflix, I have a funded toy line. I got funding. Here's the toys. Here's some leave behinds. And here's the cartoon show pitch. And here's some cool artwork. So to them, they'd be like, oh, this guy already made toys and sold toys. Rad. This must be something people are into. Yeah. So that's where I would love to go, is like that direction. I know a lot of people say that probably too, but like, I think I have a pretty good roadmap for there. So I'd be more focused on that, hiring help to help me figure out sales. And yeah, sorry, I felt like another long answer.
No, it's all good.
I don't know.
Yeah, Netflix, if you are listening, I got some ideas too. Let's
Dang, Kevin. Yeah, let's talk about what that could be. Toys are a great way to start. If you have your little Keshi figures, this is a great way to.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. So again, we have 25 days to go. This earlier, I think it said is 43% of the goal has been reached so far, which is fantastic because it's only been 4 or 5 days. So you know, as people see in patterns of Kickstarters, it's like early rush, and then like near the end, it's like another push near the end. So in that time, if you're interested, you can back this project. It helps reach these goals and make them a reality. And you don't get charged until 25 days from now, when this becomes a reality and goes that and then moves into production. So again, there's a lot of different options for you to help make this possible with all the different offerings on here. Whether it's, you know, stickers or the little buddies, or you know, retailers packs, a lot of different options for you to you know, back monsters. I'm trying to do the voice.
That's good. I like
That's
that. I
hard.
like when everyone does it different. Yeah.
That hurts. Brick something obviously is a few minutes behind in the stream. Says generally it's good to know ahead of time if someone's going to give your balls a squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for a few minutes ago, so I know where you're at in the stream, but very sound advice.
Yes, I mean, but I went in not knowing. That's I'm like, well, this is the first time doing this guy. He could. I prepared for the. I think it's good to prepare for the worst, and then if
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, then every time I go to the doctor, I'm like, oh, my arm hurts. It's probably arm cancer, and then
Squeeze
I
your
go.
ball.
Like,
Oh, sorry, I thought that's where the story was going.
no, and then they're like, dang it, you win. But it's like I just always prepare for the worst time something good happens, and then it's like, oh, great, you know, it just helps. Not saying like I go into everything negative, but just like, it's not that bad, you know? So,
Right.
yeah, go into this assuming it will hopefully fun, but just prepare for the worst. But I'm tackling it every day, like one day at a time. And yeah, when I was talking to David Silva, and he's like, yeah, usually the first 2 to 3 days, you should hit 1/3 of your funding. The last 2 to 3 days is the last third. And then the middle, like 25, 26 days is like the other third. So I went into this knowing like, yeah, I got 30% the first 24 hours, which is great because he said you should hit that within the first 2 days, like about. So I hit it a little earlier, and I got to, you know, I'm trying to get I just try and set these goals like, all right, when do I hit 50%? I don't know. I want to hit a couple thousand, maybe a day, hopefully, and then like in a slower time, then I could pick up. And if not, I got to hustle. But I got a lot of things, you know. I appreciate having me on, Kevin. I got you know, other things, other people. So it's like, to me, I'm not taking this lying down. I'm going to go, who wants to talk to me? Who wants to hear about monsters?
Yeah.
And make sure it's different for everyone too. It's not like Josh has watched, like, I think every stream I'm on. I want him to feel like he's getting something new out of everyone. Not like, cool, Dave talked about this again. You know, it's like, oh man, this time last time he talked about eating a triplet and his mom's wound during the first trimester of the pregnancy. And then this time we got to talk about, you know, the rub over your head thing. So it's everyone's a little different, Kevin. Everyone's a little different. You know?
I don't think we have enough time to delve into that other topic you just mentioned. That sounds wild. Not that I'm not interested. Not that I am disinterested. I'm very interested. Erwin says, dig the channel. Thank you so much. I hope you well, first of all, thank you for being here. Your work is fantastic, and I hope you stick around on the channel, as does most people who are watching. So do you have some plugs? You know, you're going to be on some other shows coming up. I have the Kickstarter link in the video description. Same with the Monstors Instagram. You know, let everybody know what you want them to know.
Yeah, just, I mean, the Kickstarter is the most important thing, and that's linked here. Thank you. And that's also the two main social medias I use are Instagram. So it's at the Monstors, because someone else already had Monstors. So I'm like, what the hell? And so Facebook was the same. It's at the Monstors. And I think Twitter, I just kept that. I'm not on Twitter. I'm horrible at Twitter. So there's like literally a landing page on Twitter, or X, whatever you call it now. I noticed you had a Twitter logo at the beginning of yours, so you haven't jumped over to X yet, you know? So
it's not like an active thing. I was just force migrated, and I'm like, I haven't updated that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I
I
wrote that down as a thing. I'm like, oh yeah, he has a Twitter logo instead of a, you know, let me take a little note here, my notepad. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook, and then I had it. We were talking about this earlier. I started a YouTube channel. Not like I'm going to be I'm going to have all these videos, but I just need a place for like my toy commercial to live. And so anyone that's out there, like, one thing that would also really help, besides sharing the Kickstarter campaign, which is great, like sharing that toy commercial it's fun. I've heard so many people just like get excited about it, and then that also helps people know about the Kickstarter, get them excited about this is a thing. It's not just like this concept. I'm just going up with art. It's like, dude, this is toys. These are real. I want to make them real. I want to make them fun as shit. I want you to enjoy them. I want your kids to enjoy them. I want your neighbor to enjoy them. I want your neighbor's plumber to enjoy them. I want your librarian, just like I want people to enjoy these things. So tell everyone I appreciate it, and I'm going to make it worth everyone's while. And also this whole campaign trail, we jokingly call it like me and a buddy. It's like, yeah, it's like you're on a presidential campaign trail. You're trying to get out there, find all the people the best ways. And yeah, it's great getting to know you, Kevin, for the first time and talk to you.
Yeah.
You're cool as shit, man. So thank
Yeah,
you.
same to you, man. You're awesome. It's really funny imagery of like a librarian playing, and like it's very quiet, and they're like monsters.
Shh.
Whispering.
Oh, that'd be it. We should do a toy. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write that down as like a joke toy commercial. Library toy. You can see how I'm shaking my camera because I write so hard.
It's real writing.
Yeah.
It looks like you said, you mentioned you're on with Brick tomorrow.
Yeah, on with Brick tomorrow at 3:45 Pacific, which is because I always forget where people are, so I always write it in my calendar as like Pacific, not like if you're Eastern, you promote your show in Eastern time or whatever. And then I'm going on with Geek Dad Life tomorrow night after Bricks. I'm going from Brick to Geek Dad Life.
Oh, nice.
And then after Geek Dad Life, I have to drive 2 hours to go pick up my toys. Are currently with an influencer friend of mine. He's doing a little shoot with them and stuff, so I have to drive. Cool. It's gonna be a crazy day tomorrow. It's a crazy Sunday. Just bam, 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 bam.
Not a lazy Sunday.
No,
not at all. Hell yeah. Hey, you know what? I think it's important people see and recognize the grind. Like, you're very serious about making this happen. So you're not slowing down, and that's cool to see. Making the rounds on your presidential campaign movie junket thing. But hey, thank you for coming on here and giving us a little extra, not just the photos and the commercials, but behind the scenes of the inspirations for Monsters and your own personal kind of story with toys. Thank you so much.
And yeah, and again, if anyone has any comments or questions moving forward too, like I'll be checking the comments in this thing, and then also like the Kickstarter campaign, you can ask questions, comments, direct message me on there. So any suggestions, questions, anything, I try to make myself way too available. I should close myself off a bit more.
Super cool. For people who are new here, or for people who have been watching and you don't know, I'm doing a Patreon giveaway for San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So there is a Jada Toys Chester Cheetah Flaming Hot SDCC edition that I brought back for people, and there's a whole bunch of SDCC swag here just as a thank you for people who support the channel and the content that I'm making. Unboxing Thursdays will return next week. We have I'm really excited for this one. We have comedian Roxy Hayes, who's like a big nerd also, so we're gonna open up some stuff and chat anime, Power Rangers, Disney stuff, she's into all that, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So come through next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. And please share the Kickstarter, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. David, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, dude, thank you again for having me, and thank you for everyone who watched, chimed in, asked questions. Love it. And thank you all. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Everyone have yourselves a great night and keep toying around. Peace. David, hang around. I'll see you after.
Yeah.
I guess I should made that clear before. Let me try this one more time before the credits roll out. Something. Monsters! Damn.